And I just
Mhm.
went right through the line. My name is Matt Vanderlaar. That's what I had to do because I
Mhm.
was on a list of free lunches.
Gotcha.
We didn't have the privilege of having access to fresh food, fresh fruits
Mhm.
and vegetables and high quality cuts of protein and things like that. I remember I was forced by my stepdad at one point to eat a bowl of cereal because that had spoiled because how dare you waste that food? We
Right.
can't afford to just waste milk.
Mhm.
So sit here and tell me that childhood obesity is caused by processed foods when that's what most people have access to every day,
Mhm.
and it's what's cheap and convenient. Like we can have the conversation about how processed foods are cheaper than whole foods. We can have that conversation. But
Mhm.
do not fucking blame childhood obesity and obesity
No.
on processed foods. Talk
No.
about
It's
ways
also
that
a
we can
lack of
make these things
education.
more.
Can we
Yes.
lack of education, you know? Okay, let's educate families then.
Welcome to Cut the Crap with Beth and Matt, the world's #1 no bullshit health and fitness podcast.
Are you ready to cut the crap with your diet and exercise, get strong as fuck, and build a healthy relationship with food? Then you've come to the right place.
Let's go. If you'd like to support us in the podcast, join our Patreon where you get exclusive content, which consists of monthly workouts you can do at home or at the gym, monthly challenges that are either strength, habit, or mindset based, and access to over 100 plus low-calorie, high-protein, family-friendly meals. These are all designed by a professional chef who is certified in nutrition. These recipes are already in MyFitnessPal for easy fucking tracking. New recipes are also added each week.
We believe that fitness is for everyone, so this is our way of getting you started on your health and fitness journey at a price most everyone can afford. So what the fuck are you waiting for? We'll see you in the Patreon.
Matt, how are you?
Nerdle, I'm doing pretty okay today.
Yeah,
I've been having to pivot again, of course, recently, but doing well. How about you?
nice. Doing well. Just acclimating to being back from my retreat in Portland and a new schedule, which I'm already loving, having Johnny back at school. Oh my goodness. It's like, wow, I can actually be uninterrupted and plan out my day.
Yeah, it's nice, right?
Oh my gosh. So nice.
I'm in that week right now, so like I'm doing the week on, week off with Riker this year, rather than try to do 3 or 4 days every week like it was last year.
Yep. Is this your week with him?
I'm by myself this week.
Okay.
So I'm kind of in like business mode and work mode and fitness mode this week. And then last week, I was just trying to survive because of how crazy everything was. So yeah, I get it. Back to school is a crazy time of year.
It is. It really is. You guys, our hike is coming up soon. Oh
Fuck
my
yeah.
goodness.
October 12th. It's like 1 month away.
I'm so pumped. I got to get plane tickets. Do I get them to Detroit?
Yeah, I was looking it up and I do think Detroit's the best place for you to fly into.
And we're going to go straight to the Airbnb from there, right?
We are. Yeah. So from Detroit Airport,
Yay!
we're looking at like a 5 or 6 hour drive to get up to the UP, I think. Maybe even a little bit
Okay.
longer. I can't remember. But yeah, it's going to be fucking
So
great.
fun. You guys, October 12th is our day of hiking in the Upper Peninsula at 8 a.m. And what is the exact location, Matt?
We are doing Chapel Beach Loop. It's in Shingleton, Michigan, Pictured Rocks area. It's right on Pictured Rocks.
Nice.
Gonna be really fucking cool. The hike itself is like a 6 mile loop. It's not difficult by any means, especially where we're at. Like that's more of a sandy region, so there's not like a lot of elevation change and things like that.
Nice.
And we're gonna be hiking around a big lake, I think. So not Lake Superior, but a smaller lake. Fucking Michigan is.
It's going to be,
What
I
is
hear
it?
it's going to be absolutely amazing. And we're coming at the perfect time, like not too late, not too early.
Not
I
too
don't
early.
think. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll be seeing everything in full bloom because kind of like when we were in Hocking Hills last year with everything in full bloom like that. Oh my God, those colors,
Yeah.
right?
It was,
We are
it
in
was
for a
gorgeous.
fucking treat. Been watching pictures. I've seen pictures for years of this area, this time of
Yeah.
year. It's been on my list for years. We are in for a treat. I know that.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pumped.
Going to be really fucking cool. So yeah, October 12th, it's coming up. We also have, of course, the link to RSVP to that is in the comments for anybody that wants to join us. I think we have like 10 people that have RSVP'd so far.
Okay.
So,
I'll have to make another post and make sure we get it out there.
Yeah, for sure. We're a month away. We're good to go. We've got everything booked and scheduled, and we're ready for people to show up in a month. So
Yeah.
let us know if you're coming. We want to see y'all, especially
Yes.
when you came to Hocking Hills last year. We want to see you again. But we want to see you all. So
Right. Exactly. Come see us and hike with us.
walk, hike with us for sure. And I was thinking maybe even something we might do on our own is do like a little kayaking in the pictured rocks. Or like, so I'm going to look at doing like a little excursion like that. Would you be down for something like that?
Possibly.
Kayaking? Maybe.
Open water kayaking freaks the fuck out of me.
Sure. We would do it in a like with a tour guide and with a group and everything. So we
Okay.
wouldn't just be like on our own. But
Yeah.
yeah, we can. I'll show you what it's what it's like, what it's all about, and then we can go from there. Because like pictured rocks, right? Like there's you got my like from what I've seen and from what everybody's told me, you've got to get on the kayaks to see it like that way.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because these just big cliffs, right? These big orange red pictured rocks, right?
Right.
Looking over Lake Superior. So it's just a different vantage point essentially.
Okay.
There's like little rocks that are out in the lake that you can see that are
my adventure
right?
friend is gonna take me out of my comfort zone.
Always.
Everyone needs a mat.
For one reason or another.
Yes, for sure.
I just got a new car.
Nice. You guys, you probably remember Matt talking about his car getting fucking hit and run on his own street.
Yeah, my own street, parked out front of my house. Well, like what I was in my house for like 15 or 20 minutes, just in between running errands with my son.
So crazy.
Taking a shower, I come out and my fucking car's all smashed up. Like, what the hell just happened? I was just here.
Fucking bullshit.
Yeah. So thankfully got my insurance paid me out and everything. And so I just got my car. I got the Nissan Rogue 2018.
Okay. That's like a utility vehicle almost, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a small. I don't think it's qualified as a compact SUV, but it's like a smaller to mid-sized SUV.
Okay. I think I've rented them like before, like when I've gone away. Like I think they're.
I've always gotten those for rentals. That and Toyota. The Toyota RAV4s has always been my rental cars. Yeah. So that's kind of what I was looking for if I didn't go with the Honda Accord, like I always like to go.
You like it?
I love it. So it kind of fulfills all my needs. Especially with having Dutch and everything and all the traveling I do, driving back and forth. I essentially work out of my car and live out of my car half the time. So I need to have that good storage space and trunk space.
Yep.
And I can go, camping in the car if I want to. Do all that good stuff if I want to.
That's awesome.
So, because I was torn about whether or not I was going to get an SUV or a car again, because how much gas driving I do. Like on the weeks that I have Riker now, I'm doing still 2 or 3 hours of driving, because no matter where I live is very rural. So no matter where I fucking go, it's a 45-minute drive to get like the closest to anything.
Yeah.
So, but the Rogue is about 25 to 30 miles a gallon. So I'm really happy with that.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. For an SUV, that's pretty fucking good. So
yeah.
Nice. Pumped. Can have like the light at the end of the tunnel, right? I got a new car.
I'm not happy that you were meant to get a new car.
Right. Because I've been thinking about it for so long, but I didn't want the car payment, right? So insurance didn't pay for the full car. So now I've got a fucking car payment. That sucks. But hey, what can I do? I needed a fucking car. So
right. I know.
Yeah.
Right.
So tell me about your guys' retreat real quick. How'd that go?
It was so fun. It was so awesome to see everyone in person. And I was so overwhelmed, right? With happiness, joy, whatever you want to call it. And in a spot where I was like, wow, I can't believe I'm here type thing. Dr. Josh actually made it up and he spent the day with us on Friday. Oh my God, it was so awesome to see him.
Yeah.
But we were just talking and I broke down in tears. Like it just came out of nowhere. And I was like,
happy tears,
hyperventilating, crying. Yeah. Happy tears. Like, wow, I can't believe this is happening type thing. Like, I don't know. It's one of those things where you work so hard and you're like, wow, I did this. I was able to rent this house and, house and feed my team.
You built this. Yeah.
And it was like very overwhelmed of emotions that I didn't really know how to process.
Yeah.
So
it's a good thing Josh was there for that then.
I know. I was like, well, lucky you, Josh.
Love that.
It was fun. So we did a lot of, my coach Kelly, she's like, we need to do a fucking dip. I'm like, oh God. She's like into the like dip in the ocean, fucking polar plunge,
Yeah, I saw that.
Wherever she goes, she'll like do a, open water polar plunge. So we all did that. It was fucking so funny. It wasn't as cold as I thought it would be, but definitely. Yeah. So we did that at like 4:30, 5 in the morning. And so we ended up getting up a couple times to see the sunrise, which was cool.
Nice.
We swam, we went hot tubbing. What else did we do? We went to the gym.
So lots of pickleball
Lots
happening.
of pickleball. We got
Yeah.
into pickleball. Johnny came for a couple days and he's obsessed with pickleball. Like it's such a
Nice.
fun game. Have you played before?
Just a couple of times. I played on vacation with my son when we were on the cruise this last winter.
Uh-huh.
And I watch people play all the time, like when I'm at the gym and stuff. Yeah, it looks fun.
It's
It's a
fun.
great
I want to
workout.
find a court to actually just do it like in the weekends with Johnny or something because he loves it.
Yeah. Okay. I bet you guys have something in the area. I mean,
Oh yeah,
the
we
courts
do.
are
We have
popping up
like
everywhere.
the indoor sporting places that we have that have like the indoor soccer and indoor tennis.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a good thing to do.
I love that. That's a good form of movement for you guys to have in your arsenal.
Yeah. We
That's
had
great.
a fire pits. We did a bonfire one night with s'mores. We had a lobster bake. Yeah, it was fun. Really relaxing and team bonding, I guess you could say.
Yeah. I love that. You
Yeah,
deserve it. I mean, you built that. That's fucking incredible.
I know. It's fucking cool.
It's cool that, I mean, I love that you shared that you had that little breakdown. Like, and that's
Mhm.
because we don't practice or we don't appreciate these things that we do sometimes, right? Like,
Mhm.
it's really
Yeah.
hard to look at the bigger picture and be like, and just take a step back and like, wow, I did
Yeah,
that.
I
Did
know.
that. Like, this is
Especially growing up in us, like, my mom was always like, we always have to work hard. That kind of like mentality that, we'll probably be never more than this. We'll always be
those
struggling.
self-limiting beliefs,
Yeah. And
money
it's like,
beliefs.
to sit there and be like, no, I don't have to continue doing what you're saying that this is what we're meant to be doing.
Right. Just because
And
it's always
here
been
I
that way
am.
doesn't mean to
Yeah.
continue being that way.
Stepping out of the box, and it just
Mhm.
felt really good, especially from, me being fucking drug addict, alcoholic, homeless. It's pretty cool. It's almost like I was like, I don't know if I feel like I don't deserve this. Like it was just weird, like, holy shit, this is happening to me. But Josh is like, no, you fully do deserve it. You worked for this. It's like,
Right.
yeah, I guess I did.
It's not like you just
Yeah,
stumbled into this, right?
right.
It's the blood and sweat for these years, like that we've all seen, that I've seen, especially while you've been doing this. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm proud of you, and I'm proud.
Thanks, Nerdle.
I'm happy that you did that you let those emotions out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I needed to because it was like building up. I could tell. I almost didn't know how to like have conversations because I was so just like, wow,
I think too that we are so kind of conditioned as a society to not acknowledge these cool things that we've done and these awesome things that we've done and these things that we build because it comes off as bragging, right? People like, oh, be humble, be humble, be humble. Like, I fucking worked my ass off for this. And that's why, like, as it pertains to everybody else too, like maybe you haven't run your own business, but maybe you went through this health journey, right? That's one thing we hear so often is people not celebrating their fucking victories and their accomplishments that they're making, whether it's fat loss, whether it's their strength training. It's like, oh, I only lost 20 pounds. I only did this, or just not even acknowledging these things whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I even told you, I was like, I'm not going to post much about my retreat because I don't want to brag that I got a mansion and a fucking pool and a hot tub and I hired a private chef. But you know what? Fuck it.
Right.
It's like I worked hard for this shit. It's not like I have to be okay with like being proud of myself. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what's wrong with me? Not proud of being able to do these things or not being able to like let other people know that it's okay to be proud of your successes. What a mind fuck.
It really is. It really is. And because society doesn't like it when people are vocal and showing, but not showing off, but like seeming that way, right? Like,
right.
I don't know what I'm trying to say, but who's the number on us there? Yeah, for sure. So
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. It's these self-limiting beliefs. We all have them, whether it's we don't deserve success, we don't deserve happiness, we don't deserve money. These are all just self-limiting beliefs that we just need to work through as adults, because these things were probably instilled in us as children, right? And it's because just like yourself, we both grew up kind of like poor, right? Poorer, and didn't have a lot available to us. So that's instilled on us early on that we don't have these things. And like you said, your mom was sitting there telling you this is just how it's going to be. This is how it's always going to be, right? So you're breaking the generational trauma in a way. These generational trends and showing that it can be done. Yeah. And that's one thing that I'll never resonate with is when somebody says that's just how we've always done it. Like, fuck off with that. Like, that's just how it's always been done. Fuck off with that. Like, I have no time or energy for that. I can't relate to people that are like that.
Yep.
No.
So
cool.
No
yeah.
fucking way. How was your weekend, Matt?
Oh boy, how was my weekend? My weekend was good. Spent a lot of time with Riker. What the fuck
Mm-hmm.
did we do over the weekend? Kind of just chilled out actually over the
Yeah.
weekend.
Nice.
He went with his buddies on Saturday night. He had a big sleepover with all of his buddies. And so I'm like,
Oh,
oh yeah, like go do that. You don't need to be hanging out with me right now. You're
yeah.
14 years old, you know? So
How's high school for him? Is he
he's
liking it?
yes. Oh my God. I'm gonna shout my son out here because
Okay, yeah. Talk about
he
Riker.
he struggled a little bit last year with eighth grade and with adjusting with everything that we had going on in our lives, with
Mm.
dealing with that restraining order, with his ex-stepfather that I had to get, with the harassment, with the stalking. That impacted him negatively in a big way because his mom was going through that divorce. Everything was so chaotic.
Right.
So he's always been a really good student. He's almost every year he's on the president's list for high
Wow.
academic achievement. He's always been in talented and gifted programs, but
Mm-hmm.
these last 2 years he was really struggling to the point where
Mm.
I was like, man, like it's starting to seem like me when I was that age. I was like, oh, we gotta
Oh, really?
like in
Yeah.
terms of my effort at school and things, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
but all this to say, he turned it around last year. He owned it, and he knew what he needed to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this year, like that boy again. And I'm just so proud of these things that he's going through and all these trialing things. He's 14 years old, and he's dealing with a lot of bullshit that he shouldn't have to deal with, that are adult problems that are being forced on
Right.
him, right? But he's thriving this year, and his superintendent the other day called his mom.
Mm-hmm.
And when she called me to tell me about it, I was like, oh, fuck, what happened at school?
Right.
But she's like, actually, the superintendent, and he's always very highly of Riker. And he's like, Riker's just doing so well this year. He's himself. He's happy. He's thriving. He's doing really well. And then we got another email shortly after that from the school district that they want him to be back in the talented gifted program. So like to start taking AP classes and stuff. Don't know if he's gonna
Wow.
do it. I offered it as a choice for him, but if he decides to do it, that's on him. I told him my opinion and what I thought was the right thing
Yeah.
to do. What I wish I would have done in that
Yeah.
situation, essentially. So we'll see what he does. But I'm just really proud of him. Really, really happy for him. And
That's
no matter what he does,
awesome.
it's the right choice. Because
Right.
his thing is like, I just want to make sure that I can handle what I'm doing now, essentially is what he
Yeah.
said. And I love that
What a
because
big decision. What a like well thought out thought
right. Like
process, you know?
he's like, oh,
Making
that
sure that he can handle it. Wow.
yeah, because it's like his assignments would get a little bit more difficult. Like he would be doing different schoolwork than most of the other kids are. And
Right.
he's like, well, what if it's too much? Like, and I really appreciated that because that's also what we talk about with our clients and with everybody here
Right.
too. Is like, let's not add too much on too quickly. Let's make sure we can
Yeah.
handle what we're doing now before we start adding on. So
Right.
in that regard, Riker just continues to amaze me with
Wow.
this mindset that he has with that, and like with these little glimpses of mindful eating that he's displaying and everything. It's
Mm-hmm.
just proud father, proud
That's
parent moment.
awesome.
So me and Ashley definitely kind of pat each other on the back, told each other we appreciate each other. So
Good.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
Go
But
Riker. Go
yeah.
parents.
Yeah, I did just drop that. I don't know if have I ever mentioned the restraining order on this podcast? I'm not sure if I have.
I believe you have a little bit because that was happening kind of when we were in the middle of podcasting
Yeah, that was very
a
chaotic,
couple
right?
times. Yeah.
So
Yes, I believe you have. I don't know which episode, but it's probably sporadically throughout. Maybe you can
yeah,
talk about that a little bit
sure.
because I'm sure there's a lot of other parents that could
My God,
relate
guys.
to your situation.
Yeah, this is something I've really wanted to talk about. I'm not sure, and I haven't known how to talk about it publicly
Yeah.
because what we're dealing with is abuse. It's domestic abuse. It's mental
Hmm.
abuse, and I just want people to understand, especially women out there, like. I am going through this as a man with my son
Hmm.
and with my son's mom. And I see how hard it is for me to get answers and to get somebody that's breaking the law to be held accountable
Yep.
and abusers to be held accountable. I'm a man.
Hmm.
I'm a white man. I'm as privileged as they come, right? I
Hmm.
mean, we can't, that's not debatable. I'm pretty privileged in terms of what I've been like my lifestyle, I suppose. And it's hard for me to get police to listen to us and for prosecutors to do their job and to do all this. Like just last night, I want to talk about this a little bit because
Yeah.
this really impacted me and it fucking upset me because my son is getting involved in this and it's impacting him, right?
Right.
Well, last night, my son calls me
Mhm.
at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's not my week to have him. You know, it's not my week to be with him. Well, he called me up at 4 o'clock and said, "Hey, I'm at my brother's football practice until 7 o'clock. I don't have anything to do. Do you want to come do something? I said, absolutely, dude. Of course. I said, what do you want to do? You want to play at the park, go for a walk, go for a run? He said, you want to play disc golf? I said, fuck yeah, disc golf it is. Within 2 minutes, I was on the road, got there about four or five holes into playing disc golf. Local police department shows up, and I'm like, well, is it about my dog? Because I just had my dog off a leash chasing the frisbee. So I was thinking maybe that's what it was. So I started walking up to him, and he's like, are you Matt Vanderlaar? And I'm like, I know exactly what this is about. I'm like, is this about Joey Irving? And he's like, yeah. And I just dropped his name. I don't care. He deserves to be shamed because he's done these things. He's like, what are you doing here? I'm like, what do you mean? I'm at a public park playing disc golf with my son. Is that illegal? And he's like, why are you here when Joey's here? I'm like, first of all, I didn't know Joey was here. And second of all, myself and my son are protected persons in a civil stalking protection order against him. So it doesn't matter why I'm here. He shouldn't be here. I didn't even know that he was here. Because he was stalking me. He knew I was there. I didn't know he was there.
That's fucking creepy.
Yes. I have a restraining order because of that, because he continued to show up to my son's basketball games, park beside us, taunt us, intimidate us. So
But
you know what?
didn't see him.
I didn't see him. Didn't even know he was there.
And they're saying that he's there, but you're like, I have no idea that he is here. That's fucking weird.
That's fucking weird. He knew exactly where I parked in my brand new car that I just got the day before, mind you.
Oh my God.
So the cops were trying to make me leave. So I started recording, right? I recorded. I'm like, what law am I broken? Can you show me where my restraining order that it says I can't be here? Like, I'm protected, and you're acting like I am the one doing the abuse. Like, where are my rights?
Right.
You know? And I told the cop, I'm like, it's not up to you to interpret the law. The courts interpreted the law. They said this guy did this thing and he can't be near me or my son. It's up to you to uphold that. So are you going to do your job or not? And he said, well, you can't be here and he can't be here. I said, I can absolutely be here. Prove it. I can't be here. And so things started getting escalated. And again, this is my white privilege, I think, probably talking up a little bit, just because I was literally arguing with this police officer.
Yeah.
To the point where I said, fuck you. This conversation is done. And I turned around and walked away. Nothing happened, right? That's my privilege I'm talking about, showing up. I said, fuck you to a police officer, walked away, and I said, this conversation's done. And it was. Well, then I went straight to the police department to report him for harassment, for him trying to get me to leave a public park where I was at. Yeah, so that's a struggle. And this morning when we were talking, I had to go to the courthouse to file a contempt of court, which I know nothing's going to be done with, because we filed multiple contempt of courts charges already.
Is that from the incident yesterday? You did that?
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, because now he's using police to harass us.
Right.
It's part of a restraining order. You can't use other people to contact me. Well, now he's sending police to my house, to my son's house. He's sending them to the parks that I'm at to harass me.
Is he friends with police officers?
Yes. It's small town corruption, rural
fuck
corruption.
That. Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Say no more.
you didn't. I didn't have to tell you that, and you already knew.
Nope.
It's just small town bullshit. So I told the police officer last night, I said, you do something about this by the end of week, or I'm going to social media with these videos of your officer swearing at me and getting heated with me. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But I'm done trying to go through things through the system, because the system isn't working. The system is broken. So ultimately, what I've been wanting to get people to understand is, like, especially women that deal with abuse and restraining orders and things like that. I get it. I hear you. I feel you. You are not alone. I've been seeing it firsthand, and I know it's even worse for so many women out there. I'm a man. Like, I shouldn't have to get a restraining order against. That's not why the restraining orders were created, right? So this whole thing is just really an abuse of the system and a really poor allocation of police resources. So we'll see what comes of it. I can only control what I can control, and that's what sucks. I can only continue to not let him bother me, right? So yeah, as hard as that is.
I know. It's fucking tough. It really is, especially when you have a child involved.
Yeah. And because that's the biggest thing, is like, I don't care. Me, I can handle it. I can handle myself.
Right.
Not worried about me. But it was my son. Once he got my son involved.
He has to see this shit. It's like, he shouldn't have to be. He
was attacking my son verbally, mentally abusing him. He was accusing he was 13 at the time, of smoking weed and vapes and everything. And he literally went so far as to plant evidence and everything.
Wow.
So,
oh my God. That's
and the cops
sick.
know this, but they do nothing about it. Small town bullshit. So
yeah. Sorry,
anyway,
Matt.
It's okay. I say these things because I just want to share this stuff.
Yeah.
I know you, like, especially you as a woman, you've gone through your own bullshit, I'm sure, with stuff like this too. And I've seen it firsthand with, with significant others and girlfriends and my own family members through it. And now I'm dealing with it, from a different
Oh,
perspective.
we had to go through it with my stepdaughter, who I never talk about, because if I do talk about her, mom will know, and she stalks me. So yes, I do have a stepdaughter that I raised since she was 2 fucking years old. She is now 16 and hasn't lived with us for probably 4 years.
Yeah.
And I never post about her on social media. I never post pictures, because as soon as I do that, the mom comes after me from many states away. Within seconds, I have blocked everybody that I know that knows her. I don't know how she sees my shit, but she does.
Yeah.
And it's sick. She has accused my husband of child abuse, domestic violence, you name it. I've had to be in the courts. Yeah, I can totally relate. And it's not fair when you have someone like that completely just fucking up your shit.
It's because they operate in a gray area between the law,
it's like,
right? Yeah, no, for sure. And I know privately, so it's all good.
But yeah, anyway, I can relate. It's not fun.
Proving these things are really fucking hard in the eyes of the law. That's the problem. And abusers are really, really, really good at operating in that gray area.
Narcissists.
Yes.
Yeah. That's 100%. What we deal with.
So that's why I have an entire catalog of video and audio recordings over the last couple of years of interactions with these people.
Yeah.
There's one thing I've learned: document.
Right.
Which is why I won my restraining order. So.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah.
Wow.
Cool. Well, that felt good to talk about, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
I have one thing that I want to talk about really quickly, because maybe you can help with what I can do in this situation.
Sure.
But it's about Johnny and his school. He has like lower school, middle school, and upper school. And upper school is like 7th and 8th grade, right? Okay. So he's gone to this school, so it's basically kindergarten. So he's been with his friends for a very long time. Well, this year, his very best friends, like 3 of them, will be graduating, and he will be left.
Into the upper class?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so last night, we are 2 days in school. Actually, yesterday was the first day back, right? And he comes home for jujitsu, and he sits next to me, and he was talking to me about his jujitsu class, like totally normal. And then he's telling me about this kid, like accidentally, hit his teeth on his head. And he had a bump, and then he starts crying. And I'm like, "Are you okay? Like, are you in pain? Do you need, what's going on?" He's like, "No, do you know it's Sam and Milo and Andy's last year, and they're graduating, and I'm going to be there by myself." And I'm like, like, where did this come from? I'm like, it's just the beginning of school year. Yeah. And so it like broke my fucking heart. Like I'm thinking like that's tough, man. Like I get it. Like I feel bad. I am like in pain for you right now, because I can feel like the emptiness of seeing your friends go and you're just left there, you know? And so I'm like, you know what, bud? I understand this is really hard, but you have to enjoy the moment right now and make the best of what you have ahead, because you have a full year. They'll always be your friends. And I go, think about, they're all going to separate schools. So they're all going to miss each other too. So I'm like, they're not all going to the same high school. Yes. They're all initially separating amongst themselves. And I said, you probably will end up going to the same high school as Sam. He's like, you think so? And I'm like, probably. I can't make promises, but
based off of like where everybody lives, right?
So. Yeah. And so that calmed him down a little bit, but it's like, what do you do in this situation?
Yeah, because like you said, it's really hard to get because he's 12, right?
Yeah.
12 or he'll be 13 in January, I believe, right?
Yeah, 13 in January.
Look at that. Because him and Riker's birthdays are really close.
Yeah, that's right.
Because it's hard to get a 12-year-old to understand that like it's just 1 year, right? And wow. Yeah, that would definitely hit me out of nowhere too. I guess so he's got his jujitsu, right? Does he have any friends in jujitsu?
Yeah, the friends that he goes to school with, a lot of them go to jiu-jitsu. So hopefully they'll continue.
So he's got like other friends at school.
Yeah, he has other friends that will be there with, but not his best friends. Like his best friends, they are leaving.
So I guess maybe what the approach that I think I would take is to help him understand, like they're not going anywhere. They're still going to be right down the road or whatever. Right. They can still do their weekend play dates or their video games at night. I'm sure that's what they do. Fortnite or whatever the fuck they're playing, right? So nothing's really going to change. And also like, well, I think one thing that could potentially help is like, dude, even when you're in high school, even if you're in the same grade, you might not even see your friends all day anyway.
Yeah.
right? Because you could have different classes and things like that, different schedules. So
Yeah.
I don't know. That's
It's tough, right? It's the fact that they're not graduating together either. They'll all be graduating, and the class, the 7th grade, I guess you should say, always like sends off the
Yeah.
8th grade. So they do kind of like a little speech and, talking about whatever their friends are leaving. And I'm like thinking, oh my God, how fucking my heart is like breaking, and it's only September.
Yeah. Sounds like he's got some anxious thoughts going on there. Kind of, I think that matches up with what we talked about last night or last week, right? With the way he kind of hyperfixates on some of these things, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So I'm trying to get him not to hyperfixate it on it
it's like
now.
this too shall pass, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
This feeling shall pass because it's very new.
Yeah, it reminds me of when my parents pulled me out of high school in Connecticut to move to Maine. I had freshman and sophomore year. And of course, I spent all my years with my friends throughout grade school, middle school, and into high school until sophomore year. And then we moved to fucking Maine, and it killed me. Like, I was destroyed.
Yeah.
I hated my parents, or you know what I mean? So I'm thinking about how I felt, like leaving my friends. And this time his friends are leaving him in a way. But anyway,
yeah,
it just hits me in the feels.
For sure. Yeah, it's one of those, like, as a parent, sometimes there's just like nothing you can do or say. It's like they just have to go through it themselves. Like,
yeah,
it's just
it's life. It's fucking
like,
life,
yeah, that's
right?
life. Like, try telling a teenager or a preteen that, but
this is life. This is gonna happen throughout your fucking life.
This is what I want to say half the time. Hey, man, that sucks. That's just how it is.
Right?
I don't know.
Anyway.
Yeah. Parenting was challenges.
It's tough, man. You don't like to see your kids sad.
Right. Yeah, we want to fix, and sometimes we can't fix these things right away.
Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
I think, this too shall pass with that.
Yeah, at least he's talking to me. I'm glad he's talking to me about it now, so I can actually support him in any way I can. I'm glad he feels safe with me.
I was gonna say that's probably the best thing you can do is just keep that open line of communication with them, and let him know that you support him, which of course you do.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, do we want to talk a little bit about what's kind of gotten me fired up today as well?
I mean, let's do it.
In addition to what we kind of just talked about, childhood obesity, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know where to start with this one, but I guess what got me fired up today was seeing a mutual coaching friend in the same circles, post an image that I did not agree with, that I thought was really clickbait and fear-mongery. Yeah, about it was an image of a child smoking a cigarette. And then he related it to processed foods, right?
And childhood obesity.
And these hypotheticals about how we want to make our children smoke and this and this and this. And so I had a problem with the messaging and the imagery he was using, because that's clickbait. It's fear-mongering. It's instilling fear in food. So that's what I wanted to talk about, was like childhood obesity.
The multifaceted,
or just obesity in general, right? Because childhood obesity and obesity, like it's the same. Like, let's be real here, it's hand in fucking hand. It's just obese children. More likely, it'll be an obese adult, right? So we know that, but we can't just point our finger at one thing and say this is what's causing childhood obesity. This is what's causing obesity. And when we do something like demonize processed foods and say that this is why our children are obese, it's a big fucking problem for many reasons. Reason number one is because for a lot of people, that's all the food that they have access to.
Yeah.
Hello, hi, I was that child growing up.
Socioeconomic situations in which people are poor and doing the best they fucking can.
Right. Sometimes, like, I grew up with free and reduced lunches. When I grew up, my reduced lunches were 10 cents because regular lunches were probably like 50 cents or something back then in the 90s.
Yeah.
But I remember that very vividly. And I remember always knowing that I was different because everybody else was paying for their price. I remember standing in line at school and seeing everybody hand over money for lunches. And I just went right through the line. My name is Matt Vanderlaar. That's what I had to do because I was on a list of free lunches.
Gotcha.
We didn't have the privilege of having access to fresh fruits and vegetables and high quality cuts of protein and things like that. I remember I was forced by my stepdad at one point to eat a bowl of cereal because that had spoiled, because how dare you waste that food? We can't afford to just waste milk. So sit here and tell me that childhood obesity is caused by processed foods when that's what most people have access to every day, and it's what's cheap and convenient. Like, we can have the conversation about how processed foods are cheaper than whole foods. We can have that conversation, but do not fucking blame childhood obesity and obesity
No.
on processed foods. Talk
No.
about
It's
ways that
also
we
lack
can
of
make these things
education.
more.
Can we
Yes.
lack of education, you know? Okay, let's educate families then. Why are we
Let's
pointing fingers and not
right.
helping? We're just
Let's help them
fucking
understand how.
blaming.
Mhm. Let's help them understand how
Blame.
they can eat a donut and eat these Oreos and still be healthy, right?
Yeah.
Let's not cast fucking fear, because we know there's so much evidence from a scientific standpoint and from a mental health standpoint, the effect that fear and shame has on people and their health and wellness. It's a net harm. It's no positive comes from it. Maybe for a few people, shaming them works.
Yeah.
Some people do operate that way, but the majority of people do not operate off of fear and shame. It's just coming from a place of extreme privilege. And then we're also not considering so many other things. We're not considering race. We're not considering where they live, right? Because a lot of the research also shows that race is a big part of it too. Like, if you're African American or Hispanic or something, you have a lot of things going against you. And I don't want to make this political, but a lot of this stuff is political because these are the policies being put in place.
Yeah.
But that's what we need, is policy change and things like that in order to combat this stuff. No matter what side you're on, let's please not make this a political thing. It does come from policies and from education. It doesn't come from fear. It comes from people, from having support, from building community, from giving people resources, making childcare more affordable, right? Right now, a lot of children come home after school and they have nobody at home watching them after school. Right? What was that? A turnkey kid, right? Were you a turnkey kid, Beth?
Oh, yeah.
Growing up?
I mean, I was the oldest, so
for hours at a time. We come home from school, we walk home from school, get off the bus, and we're home for hours because our parents are still at work because they can't afford childcare, right?
Right.
So then what do kids eat when they're left to their own devices? Well, what's easily available? What's easily available?
If you leave a kid home now, it's a totally different story because they have to be a certain fucking age to stay home alone now, right? So parents are paying for childcare, which is another fucking added stress and money. And so they're having to get fed by the childcare people. It's a fucking chain of trickle effect. You know what I'm saying?
In a perfect world, everybody would have access to Whole Foods, but this is not a perfect world. This is reality.
Yeah.
So we need to give people solutions.
That's the thing. We're pointing blame, but we're not offering any fucking solutions.
Yes.
I mean, me and you are on a whatever level that we can, but
I agree with that.
It needs to go deeper.
Yes. Yeah, because we can't initiate a lot of these changes. Like, we can raise awareness to them.
Right.
We can get involved in the causes that we believe in, and we do. We can raise money for charity, which we do, but there's only so much we can do. So we need to raise awareness, and that's what we do as well.
Yeah.
And educate. But then also, let's talk about obesity and movement too, guys. If we're going to talk about obesity, we cannot not talk about movement. This is what really upsets me about this fucking conversation.
Here's the thing that's different. When people are like, oh, everyone's so obese now. It's like, okay, compared to the 70s. I grew up in the 70s. I'm a 70s child. Let me just tell you one thing. I never not moved, okay? Because I didn't have computers. I had nothing.
We rode our bikes everywhere.
What did I do? I biked and I skated every fucking day, all day. I was outside all day. And guess what? I was the fucking skinniest kid, right? Because I moved all the fucking time. Kids don't move now. They don't.
They don't have intentional exercise.
I have to purposely grab my son away from his computer and say, let's go for a 30-minute walk. During the summertime when he's not in school, because when he's in school, he gets a ton of movement. It is a constant. You have to be proactive, but these kids aren't moving. Okay. That's and also adults aren't moving either.
Yes. So some numbers here. 1 out of 3 children are reaching the physical activity requirements of 60 minutes of play a day. 1 hour.
Yeah.
Most of the time that's happening at school with a 20 or 25-minute recess. That's not enough.
Yeah, they're sitting all day at school.
Now you can't even fucking play hard at school anymore at recess because somebody's going to get fucking hurt.
Right. And everyone's so fucking, what is it? Like, scared of everything.
Yeah.
There's a lawsuit for everything.
We've got to be politically correct. Everybody needs an award participation trophy.
Right.
Right. So movement is a big fucking problem. If 2/3 of our children are not moving, that's a big fucking problem.
Yeah. It makes up 60% of our metabolism.
Our movement.
Our NEAT, right?
Non-exercise, not our exercise, the movement we're doing every day, right?
Yeah, we're like
walking.
So you're looking at people that are just sitting and playing games and working on their computer all day.
Yes. Yes.
They didn't do that in the 70s because computers didn't
There's a
fucking
direct
exist.
correlation between the advent of like this new technology wave in the 60s and 70s with refrigeration and with washing machines. And it's very polarizing. The line for technology is going up and obesity is also going up with it, right? The more technology we have, the more automation we have, the more convenience we have,
Because
the
guess
more
what?
obesity. And I'm
Now
not
you have a
saying that
washer.
movement is just why, like, it's multifaceted.
Yeah. You have a washer, right? In the 70s, and you didn't have a dryer. So you went outside and you fucking
hand
hung
washed.
your clothes out. So what are you doing? You're being active.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're washing your clothes and you're hanging them out to dry, and then you're getting them off and then you're folding them. I mean, people have hard labor jobs. There's no fucking laborious jobs anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
factories are shutting down, paper mills and all that shit. So,
And even in those manufacturing environments, a lot of those jobs, now you're just standing on a fucking line and inspecting parts and putting parts together. Like, I get it. I worked in manufacturing for many years growing up. I started working in factories when I was fucking 14 years old.
we have lazy as fuck jobs now, and in a movement way, not in your brain way. We have lazy as fuck.
It just doesn't
jobs.
require us. It's thinking. Most of our jobs are thinking or pressing a button. It's not moving. So that's another part of the problem.
Yeah.
There's so many, like, we can't sit here and say, this is the problem, this is the problem. It's everything. So to sit here and blame food for obesity is incredibly fucking ignorant. It comes from a place of extreme privilege, and it just shows a complete lack of empathy for anybody that actually is in the trenches and dealing with this shit.
Right.
And I know this for a fact. As soon as I started talking about this stuff and started posting about it on my stories today, the comments started coming in. First, there was a couple of coaches that were like, I hate call out couch culture and like, I don't care, fuck off. But then, because then what really matters is the people that are messaging, my followers, the people that I'm actually here to help. I'm not here to help coaches. The people that I'm actually here to help, they're like, thank you for saying this, because this screams privilege and lack of empathy. And then I've even had I had a couple of Hispanic friends and followers message me too. And like, these processed foods that are getting demonized, these are our cultural foods.
Yeah.
Cultural foods are getting demonized, and people are being told not to eat their cultural foods. So now that's a racism thing too.
I never even thought of that, to be honest.
These people don't.
Yeah.
It's black and white to them. They're incapable of actually thinking critically. They see, oh, obesity is on the rise. Well, we've been eating more shit food, so that's got to be the problem. That's all it is.
Right.
Hire me for president or hire me as coach. I've got all your
There's
problems.
always been highly processed foods. There's always been them.
They're just so fucking easy to grab, right? Like, and then I was talking about this on my story too. Why do we eat Twinkies? It's not usually because we're hungry. Right. Nobody is feeling hungry and grabbing for a fucking Twinkie and thinking that it's going to satisfy them. Nobody is doing that. But you know what they're grabbing that Twinkie to do? Help them feel better. Like, oh God, Bob just pissed me off. I don't want a cigarette. I'm going to eat a Twinkie instead, right? Maybe something like that. We're using food to cope because our mental health is at an all-time low. We have no mental health resources, no mental health support. So we're coping in ways that aren't health promoting by eating food. Right. So the food's always been there. So we need to learn how to exist with food. Telling people to avoid food, telling people food's the problem is not fucking helping anybody. This food's not going anywhere. We need food to survive. We don't need hyper processed food to survive, but guess what? It's not fucking going anywhere. So deal with it and give people real solutions.
Yeah. Agree.
And I will continue to call everybody out, friend or not, that does it.
Yeah. We should start doing series on how to be healthy in a highly processed diet.
Ooh, I love that.
We can do that when we get together or something. You know what I'm saying? Because
solutions.
Yeah.
By the way, I got to shout somebody out that's doing something right. A couple of people here. A couple of our friends. Zach Cohen. Got to give him a big shout out here on the podcast, because Zach Cohen has done videos. One thing with his meal prep videos is he makes sure that they're affordable for like a family of 5 can afford them. So what he's done is he's literally gone to, I'm pretty sure, to Dollar General store and shown people how they can make a nutritious meal with nothing but processed fucking food. Why aren't people doing that? Because that doesn't sell. That's not sexy. Right. It's a lot easier to fucking put a picture of a kid smoking a cigarette and get a response from people that way. It's a lot easier to go to a grocery store and say, avoid this, this is killing you, you're fucked, it's all fucked, right? It's a lot easier to do that. That gets people's attention.
Yes.
But it does nothing. It does nothing to help people.
Absolutely
I'm
nothing.
fucking tired of it.
Yep.
And I'm tired of it.
Yep.
So that's where that is. I think we need. Oh, and another person too, Andy Miller. Andy Does Healthy.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was chatting with her, and she's always talking about this. If you guys haven't already, give Andy Does Healthy a follow.
Mhm.
She's been on our podcast I think she might have been one of our first guests, but
Yeah.
she talks
Close to
about this
it.
stuff. She talks about food deserts. She talks
Yeah.
about the socioeconomic stuff with obesity. She
Mhm.
gets to the real meat and potatoes of it.
Yeah.
It's not black and white.
Right.
It's not black and white.
And we're also getting the menopause diet plan ladies on here because Hillary, I believe, is an oncology dietitian, and she wants to talk about processed foods and the fact that they do not cause cancer and the fear that goes around with them.
Look at that. We're providing solutions.
Oh, imagine that.
we're helping people with answers and ideas. I like this. That's what we should be doing.
Yeah.
Not posting pictures of kids smoking cigarettes and telling people that processed foods are why they're dying.
Right.
So I think that's definitely a topic that we need to do a full episode about, right? Especially with you and I, we need somebody on here that we can talk to and bounce these things off of.
Yeah.
So they can fact check us. We can talk to them too. Because just in 5 minutes of searching, I was able to pull up 4 really well done, randomly controlled meta-analysis.
Are you those the ones you sent
studies. Me? Yep, I sent those to you before this.
Yep.
Just with 5 minutes of research, I was able to prove everything that guy was saying wrong.
Yeah.
Right. And I tried. I tried. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
You have anything else to add to that? Wow, my God, where has time gone for this episode?
Oh, wow. It's 1:55 already.
Yeah.
That's fucking nuts.
I look down and what the hell?
Oh, damn. Because we can get going.
We can get going. Yeah. I want to make sure you say what you have to say too.
No, I'm in agreement.
Yeah.
I already made my comment and I still have yet to receive. And I said basically everything like, okay, so besides the fear mongering that you're doing, like, what is the fucking solution you have? And I said, parents are working 70 plus hours a week. They're getting things for their kids that are convenient and that are cheap because the economy fucking sucks. Actually, I'll read it right now because I thought it was pretty good. But
I thought it was I read it. It was because you were talking about all those things that we just talked about. You were elaborating on all of those things about how it's not just this one thing. It's not just this one.
It's not. It's not. Here's what I said. Okay, fear mongering aside, what is the solution? I agree that highly processed foods are being way overconsumed by adults and kids, but you can't necessarily blame the food. Parents need education and support on how to best feed themselves and their kids. The economy is fucked, and parents work insane hours to house and feed their family. They look for quick meals, which ultimately end up to be highly processed foods because that's all they know. Kids don't get any exercise because they're on their tablets all day. People are uneducated in nutrition, have a lack of movement and time management for one. Instead of fear-mongering foods because they will always fucking be there, let's work on providing a solution and educate. Kids are just doing what their parents do and eating what their parents eat. The schools also need to step up their game. This goes way beyond processed foods.
Well said, Beth. Well said.
I thought that was well said.
That was really well said.
Okay.
And we already talked about this too.
No one commented on that.
Of course not. Like we don't do facts around here. Well, we do, but some of these people post they don't like facts.
So
yeah, everything you said is spot on. What you said about not being able to cope with these things, and it's the same thing with like our stress and our mental health and anxiety. We don't know how we don't have the tools to cope with the stress and anxiety that we are experiencing at an all-time high. We don't have the right tools to work on our mental health. We address those things, and the food will not be this fucking big thing.
Yeah.
We're focusing on the wrong things, people. Me and Beth say it all the time. It's not about the fucking food.
God,
we can eat these processed foods and still be healthy. We should eat more whole foods, more fruits and vegetables, more lean proteins. We should move more. And then we can look at all this other stuff. If we do those things, then once we start as a society meeting physical activity requirements and meeting the nutritional guidelines and meeting everything for mental health guidelines, then we can talk about this other stuff. But until you address those things, like talking about the food is not going to do anything.
Yeah.
You need to talk. Talking about the food is surface level. Yeah. And I'm not interested in talking about surface level. I want to get deep. I want to get to the root cause of shit and really raise awareness to what the fuck is going on. And just saying processed foods are making us obese is surface level and it's lazy.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's a good way to end that particular conversation. Yeah. I am going for a run after this, Nerdle. I have my race coming up next Sunday, whichever day it is. So I just did a peak week last week. So I went hard last week. And so now this week I'm tapering, and next week I'll reload a little bit for my race week.
Cool.
So I'm excited. I'm doing a 4-mile run today, probably the shortest run I've done in a while. And then my run on Saturday is like 30 minutes. And then one day next week, I'm just doing like a couple of sprints, and that's all I'm doing. So
nice.
right. I'm not just going balls to the wall until race day. And I think that's what people get wrong a lot too when it comes to running and training, is just continuously going balls to the wall. Because we need to do these in phases, right? So my running programs, and it's cool because when I look at my analytics and my Strava and stuff, you can see very clearly there's a 3-week peak every month, and then it goes down for 2 or 3 weeks in a row, and then it'll go back up, and it's doing these peaks and valleys every month, right? Because I'm going through intentional phases of busting my ass, putting my body through the grinder. And I'm going through these periods where I'm letting myself recover, right? I was just injured a couple of weeks ago. I had a little flare up too. And so I had to be mindful of that. So progress is not linear. If you want your progress to be linear, you got to do these things that make it not look linear.
Exactly.
Because I am making continual progress by making these peaks and valleys, essentially.
Yeah.
That's how it goes with health and fitness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For real.
And I did my long run last week, 14 miles. That was fun. So
nice.
Other than that, what you got coming up?
Not much.
Okay. Well, you're in maintenance.
Not much. I'm in maintenance.
Are you 1 week into maintenance?
Controlled maintenance.
So Beth, what do you mean about controlled maintenance? What is that?
Yeah, I'm going to be tracking.
Yeah, it means you're not just in quote unquote maintenance, and it's just a free.
Yeah, my coach Kelly's like, I want you to be in controlled maintenance just to make sure that we are actually in maintenance. Because we're just strategizing here. So yeah.
Fuck yeah. Well, sweet. I was chatting with one more thing about the meet and greet. We were chatting with Will from Cured Nutrition, and they're going to sponsor the next meet and greet in Michigan.
Nice.
So we'll have some goodies for everybody that comes.
That's awesome.
So if y'all haven't checked out Cured Nutrition products, this is a great opportunity to.
Yeah.
Everybody that's come to our meet and greets where we've been providing the samples from Cured has been loving them.
Yeah, nice.
We usually do like some Serenity gummies and like a CBD nightcap and stuff. So huge shout out to Cured for sponsoring both our podcast and for the meet and greets, because like they go above and beyond with this partnership that they have with us. They don't have to sponsor our meet and greets,
Right.
So
exactly.
And they do. So that's really fucking cool. So thank you, Cured, for that.
Oh, cool.
And if anybody is wanting to check out the Cured stuff, Beth, what's your favorite Cured product? Is it the Serenity gummies?
I'm the Serenity gummies, and now I love the roll-on.
Oh my God,
I've been using that on my foot. Yeah.
That's such an underrated product.
I know.
They're fucking sold out, and I'm upset about it because.
When are they coming back into stock?
I don't know. I'll find out. I'll email Will because I want another one, because my other one is the one I have is at Sarah's house because it really helps for her fibro flare-ups. But I need one for my feetsies after my runs.
Yes, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So shout out to Cured. If you guys do want to check them out, it's curednutrition.com. You can use our code for this month. Guys, you are getting 10% off of any combo of theirs, plus 20% off using our code, for total 30% off of their combos. And then just 20% off of all their products using our code, which is CTC. So definitely check them out.
All right. I have to run because my contractor is upstairs and he wants me to pay him at 2:00, and it's after 2. So he's waiting for me. I can hear him walking back and forth.
He's like, where's my money, Brian?
I know. Fuck.
All right.
All right, Matt.
Talk to you later, Myrtle.
I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Hope you enjoyed this episode, so why not share with a friend who needs to hear it? Send us a DM on Instagram or email us at cutthecrappod@gmail.com and join our Patreon at patreon.com/cutthecrappodcast. As always, we appreciate you and thanks for being here.